The MiG-31 is among the fastest combat jets in the world. It continues to be operated by the Russian and Kazakh Air Forces following the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. The Russian Defense Ministry expects the MiG-31 to remain in service until 2030 or beyond. That was confirmed in 2020 when an announcement was made to extend the service lifetime of the existing airframes from 2,500 to 3,500 hours.
In order to be able to simultaneously engage several high and very low flying targets, the MiG-31 received the RP-31 Zaslan passive radar. Foxhound is the first fighter aircraft in the world to use this kind of technology. The Vimpel R-33 heavy air-to-air missile with a range of 68 miles. And to deal with attacks from America, the fighter jets have to traverse the vast expanses of northern Russia, a region with a very sparse network of airstrips. This makes the MiG-31 must have a long range. That's why the Foxhound is a big plane. Its maximum weight is 46 tons. The need for rapid response to missile threats resulted in the requirement for a maximum speed of Mach 2.8, or Mach 2.35 for a cruising flight. A pair of Russian bombers escorted by MiG-31 fighter jets and spent more than 13 hours in the air. Britain deployed Typhoon fighter jets from the Royal Air Force's Air Force RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland. We can confirm that the RAF conducted a rapid response Typhoon aircraft from RAF Lossiemouth, scrambled to monitor the two Blackjack bombers. NATO classification of Tupolev Tu-160, as they were in close proximity to British territory, the RAF said in a statement. The Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that two Tu-160 strategic bombers carried out routine patrol flights over neutral waters over the Barents Sea, Norway, and the North Sea.
Serial production of the MiG-31 began in 1979. The first production batch of 519 MiG-31s, including 349 baseline models, was produced at the Sokol plant between 1976 and 1988. The second batch of 101 MiG-31 DZs was produced from 1989 to 1991. The final batch of 69 MiG-31B aircraft was produced between 1990 and 1994. From the final batch, 50 were retained by the Kazakhstan Air Force after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Of the baseline models, 40 airframes were upgraded to MiG-31 BS standard.
Prior to the war in Ukraine, Russia had no MiG-31 Foxhound units permanently stationed near the Ukrainian border. This is not surprising, given that aircraft with such a special role are simply not embraced in such theaters. As is known, the MiG-31 was built with a mission to carry out long-range interceptions. But now the situation has changed dramatically, and the MiG-31 played an important role in the conflict in Ukraine. These planes are now deployed at two bases closer to Ukraine to take part in the fighting. They proved to fulfill a critical role based on the extreme ranges at which they could encounter air threats. They were joined by the Su-35's flanker Multirole fighter. The early MiG-31, known to NATO as the Foxhound A, was developed during the Cold War and was intended to protect strategically important objects in the Soviet Union from attacks by bomber and submarine-launched cruise missiles. And the R-33's derivative with a nuclear warhead were developed specifically for the MiG-31. The four missiles are carried in pairs under the fuselage. Starting in 2008, Russia upgraded its surviving interceptors to the MiG-31 BM Foxhound C standard. The aircraft has a Zaslan radar with a claimed search range of 149 miles against fighter-sized targets. It is twice as long as the original Zaslan,